Everyone tells you self-improve. They'll give you a checklist, new habits, new personalities to try on. But I'm here to tell you the opposite. You have to stop trying to improve. Because when you are constantly trying and trying to improve, you are draining yourself. Because now you are telling yourself and associating that with there's problems that I need to fix, and I constantly need to be fixing. I constantly need to be finishing myself. And I'm here to tell you that improving doesn't necessarily mean you have to keep adding to your life, but it means you have to start deleting things that no longer align with you. And this can be relationships and people that no longer fulfill you or add value to your life. This can be current situations, spaces, environments that bring you nothing but anxiety and heavy feelings. This can be your own thoughts, feelings, and emotions, your own habits that are honestly getting in your own way and creating your blockages. You see, the psychology of new beginnings isn't about building an entirely new woman, but it's about a controlled collapse of the old one. So in this video, we're moving from trying harder to stripping back. Hi, my name is Danny, and here's how you actually shift your identity. You see, most people think that their personality is just who they are, but in fact, your personality is actually your survival tactic. It's what you taught yourself growing up. This is the version of you that learned, if I'm too nice, then I'll be accepted by everyone. If I'm constantly people pleasing, then nobody would be upset with me. If I'm perfect, then I will not be criticized. And with these words of affirmations, feelings, and emotions, you start shaping yourself around what keeps you accepted. And over time, your survival tactics become so automatic that you don't even realize that you're just performing, right? You're now performing based off of what life expects of you. You start shaping yourself around what keeps you accepted and not necessarily what feels true to you. And so when you start having these thoughts and feelings and acting in that way, you start to become this person on autopilot, and you don't even realize that this is just a performance. You don't even realize that you're holding yourself back to keep these relationships, but you're actually neglecting your own needs. Growth isn't about fixing that version. It's realizing that that was never your real identity, and it was just you protecting yourself. And a lot of people do this when they grow up in chaotic environments, abusive households, maybe they got bullied, right? You start to kind of be a chameleon, and you kind of want to fit in. And it's something that we do so subconsciously. 90% of people are walking around this world right now wearing this mask, right? Code switching for their jobs, using their professional voice, right? People pleasing just to fit into certain groups and environments. So many of us are doing this, but behind closed doors, we are depleting our energy. Behind closed doors, we are not feeling fulfilled and happy because we are subconsciously giving our energy to everyone, trying to be accepted by everyone. But what about yourself? What about how you really feel within? You see, so many people try to change their life just by adding things to it, right? They try to put themselves in relationships because they don't know how to be alone. They try to start adding new habits, routines, discipline without even truly knowing who they are before life told them who to be. But the real shift happens the moment you remove what no longer aligns with you. And that means recognizing yourself. That means recognizing how you feel in certain environments, around certain people, and how you feel in solitude. How you feel when you're actually behind closed doors and you're actually able to be your true authentic self with no filter. Because every time you force yourself to be some way that doesn't feel natural or isn't natural for you, you are creating resistance in your life. Because here you are wanting these bigger things, wanting this money, abundance, wanting this real love, wanting stability, wanting like everything, but you're performing, right? And you're lowering your standards to be accepted by this partner or this friend or this family member because you don't know how to be alone. But when you're doing that, you're lowering your frequency, you're lowering your vibration because here you are dimming your light to be accepted by the next person. Here you are dimming your light just for people to see you, but not see you for who you are, but see you for what society feels is right? Because here's life, here's society labeling you of, oh, this is the definition of beauty, this is the definition of success. So now here you are having all these goals, all these bigger things that you want to do for yourself that for you is successful, but for the rest of the world, it may not look that way. So you neglect that. Right? You walk away from those things, those ideas, those thoughts, those feelings, because it feels weird or it's not normal. But you know what? Just because something is not normal doesn't mean that it isn't for you. Sometimes the things that are uncomfortable are the things that are truly for you. And this is why so many people, when they become successful or when they want bigger and better things, God isolates you. God puts you in a position where you have to figure things out on your own, because this is your reality, your life. It's not up to anybody else what you do. It's not up to anybody else how much money you make. It's not up to anybody else how successful you become in your life, how healthy you can be. It's not up to anybody else but you. But the more you keep resisting what you really want, the more you keep neglecting your own needs just to fit in with other people, that's when you're going to start creating burnout in your own life. That's when you're going to start, on autopilot, showing up to this job every single day that you hate. You're always complaining. You're always gossiping with your coworkers. You're always finding a way, an excuse to leave. You're always waking up dreading to go to work, and you're creating a burnout for yourself. And then you feel like life is pointless, or there's no meaning, or there's no purpose, or you're constantly feeling depressed and anxious. And you're like, where are these feelings and emotions coming from? Babes, they're coming from the fact that you keep doing this thing that you don't really want to do, but because no one else accepts you, or because this is not a societal norm for you to get up and walk away from that job and do something bigger and better, you stay stuck there. And it's not even just about jobs, it's about relationships. A lot of people stay stuck in relationships because they believe, I can never find this kind of love, right? I can never find someone that can actually see me. But babes, if you don't see yourself, if you don't see your potential, it doesn't matter how many men, how many women you decide to be with. If you don't see your own worth, no one will ever see your worth. So instead of focusing on external validation and waiting for this man or this woman to love you, or waiting for this job to give you this raise or give you what you're worth, give yourself that first. Because what you give yourself will reflect on the ways that other people treat you. Because life is a mirror. The more you speak love and light into yourself, the more you will notice that in your life. But the more you complain, the more you force yourself to do these things, the more you put on this performance, the more you try hard to fit in with these people, the more and more you're pulling yourself away, and the more you're showing yourself in the universe, I'm actually not worthy. I actually don't deserve these things. And so therefore, people will continue to treat you the way that they want to. Jobs will continue to overlook you. Friendships, relationships will continue to disrespect you and speak however they want to you, because they feel like, oh, you will never speak up. Because they're so used to you shrinking yourself just to fit in. So when I speak on subtracting things from your life, I mean, start telling yourself, I don't need to entertain this conversation. I don't need to keep showing up to this space, this environment where I'm not being respected. I don't need to keep having conversations with people that I know are going to gossip behind my back, that I know are always complaining, that I know are not even going to add value, add any kind of anything to my life. You ever be around someone and you realize, wow, I'm not learning anything from this person. This person does not teach me anything. This person does not add any value to my life. This person does not open this doorway for new things to come in. Those are the kinds of people that you want in your life. People that are open-minded, people that are going to pour and teach you things, people that are going to, allow you to open up in such a different way. You don't want to be around people that make you feel like you got to be the same, do the same thing every single day, that make you feel like you got to dumb yourself down. Why are you doing that to yourself? You know your worth. You know you're an amazing person. You know that you have so much more potential, because we all do. But you're surrounding yourself with people who literally accept the bare minimum. And because they accept the bare minimum, and you're surrounding yourself with people that accept the bare minimum, then they expect the same thing out of you. But the minute you want to start doing better, that's when they start thinking, oh, you think you're all that? Oh, you're bougie. But you know what? That just shows you, okay, that's their mindset. That's where they're at. The minute that you remove yourself from those people, places, environments, that's when your nervous system regulates. Because now you get to just be yourself. You don't have to worry about what your ex thinks. You don't have to worry about what your friends think. You don't have to worry about what your mom and dad want of you. Because you know what? Now you're just you. And you're not afraid to be you. And the fact is, when you decide that you want to be yourself, the people that are really made to be in your life, they're going to respect you. They're going to rise up with you. Those that don't, those that can't respect you, or those that can't see your changes as something beautiful, those that can't rise up with you, it just simply means that they're in a different frequency than you. And that's okay. That doesn't mean stop being you. That doesn't mean water yourself down. That doesn't mean stop being confident. That doesn't mean stop taking risks. That doesn't mean any of that. Let the people live how they want to live. Because eventually, when you keep going, eventually, they will start to see, wow, she didn't need me. And she still did what she needed to do. And that's the goal, guys. Stop feeling like you need people. Stop feeling like you got to wait for external validation. Stop feeling like you got to wait for an applause and a congratulations. Like, if this is something that you want to do, if this is something that you feel you're passionate about, do it. Even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else, do it. Because you're literally telling your nervous system, we're free. Because you are free. We are all free. And so many of us, we become prisoners in our mind because we focus so much on external validation. We become prisoners in our mind because we stop ourselves from doing bigger things. We stop ourselves from taking greater risks because of fear. Fear that, oh, I can't leave this job because this is the only job that I have. And you've been in that job for 20 years. What have you learned? What have you done differently? How has this job changed your life? If it hasn't, then get up and leave. And that is the problem. You're limiting yourself. You're limiting yourself to the abundance in this world. You're limiting yourself to the amount of opportunity in this world. You think that, oh, this relationship is the only relationship that I'll ever be in. This is the only person that will ever see me and love me. This is the only job that will ever accept me. No. You feel that way because that's your belief. Because you, for some reason, installed it in your own mind and that became your reality. That is not true. You only think that that's true because you listen to society, because you listen to societal norms, because you listen to other people, because you are literally caught up in a fear-based reality. If you want to manifest bigger in your life, if you want to be abundant, if you want to be magnetic, you have to stop living from a place of fear, because fear is just false evidence appearing real. Fear is an illusion. Fear is literally an illusion. Because the moment you let go of that fear, guess what? The success is there. The moment you let go of the fear of people looking at you and judging you and criticizing you, that is when you become successful. That is when you become successful. There's literally a quote that goes, your biggest blessings is on the other side of fear. And that is something that I live by. Why? Because I've experienced that myself. I've stayed in relationships where I felt like this was the only relationship that I would ever be in, because that was probably the first real relationship where I felt seen and important, and I idolized this person before myself. And that's what a lot of us do. We idolize people, we idolize jobs, we idolize these things, and we think, oh, this is the only thing for me. But we live in the biggest universe. This universe is so big. There are billions of people on this earth, and you think that, oh, your ex is the only person that you could ever have? You think, oh, these friends are the only friends that you're ever going to meet in your life? And that, oh, if I decide to walk away, oh my God, that's the end of the world because they're not going to like me. It doesn't matter what they think, babe. It matters about how you feel. Because now you're scared to start over. You're scared to be alone, and you're around people that are draining you. For what? When at the end of the day, you were born into this world alone and you're going to die alone. So what are you doing? What are you doing? Get it together. Start looking at your life as a mirror and start reflecting. Start asking yourself, is this what I really want? Is this what I really need? Okay? Is this relationship teaching me anything about myself? Is this job actually changing my life in the way that I want? Because you want to be rich, you want to be successful, but you're staying in the same job that you've been in for 20 years, that's underpaying you, that doesn't give you a raise, that doesn't value you, where you're draining yourself, depleting yourself every single day, doing the same bullshit every single day. And you're wondering, why do you have chronic depression? Why do I have such anxiety? Babes, because you're in an environment that gives you so much anxiety. You're in an environment where you feel like you have to keep going. And when you're doing that, you're neglecting your needs. You're not even taking the time to breathe, to reflect on yourself, to ask yourself, is what I'm doing worth it? Is what I'm doing getting me anywhere? Because most of the time, you're not. Most of the time, you are not. Okay, you're saving a little bit, cool, whatever. But then what? You have to pay bills. You have to do this. You have to do that. And then what? Start investing in yourself. Start learning about stocks. Start learning about different ways to make money, because there's so many ways to make money in this world. But life has conditioned you to think, oh, well, I have to go to school for 12 years, then I have to graduate, then I have to go to college for another however many years you want to go to college to get this diploma, to then what? For what? To try to apply to a job where you have the diploma, but oh, you don't have the experience yet. So then here you are working and hustling, trying to get everything just to get that job, when you could have been investing in yourself, doing what you wanted to do, what you were actually passionate about, and you could be 10 steps ahead. 10 steps ahead, because it's what you do now that determines where you're going to be in the next 3 to 5 years. You can't keep sitting around and waiting for things to be handed to you. You can't keep sitting around and thinking, oh, well, things are going to change eventually. I'm in this toxic relationship, but it's okay. He loves me. Things are going to change. No. Because if nothing is changing now, babes, and in 5 years, you're going to be in the same position. Because it's the changes that you make now that become, that become your future, that become your reality. It's not about, oh, let me keep adding. Let me keep trying to be perfect. Let me keep trying to work my way around this job, around this person. Let me keep trying to put on this performance so that I can have all the best friends, so that I can have an excuse to, take away from what I need to be working on to go and distract myself with partying and clubbing, drink. Why are we doing this? It is 2026. We are grown as adults. It is time for us to get it together and start taking action, start releasing, start healing. But if you keep distracting yourself, if you keep allowing yourself to be around all this noise, chaos, distraction, how do you expect to heal? When you don't even allow yourself to sit in silence and think for yourself. You don't even allow yourself to sit in silence and think about what really fulfills you. What makes you feel good aside from other people? What makes you stand out aside from other people? You wouldn't know if you're always in somebody else's face. If you're always looking for some kind of validation and attention, you would not know. You have to start going within. And the only way to go within is when you start clearing your aura, your energetic field. And that means releasing. That is the number one thing that you need to do. You want to become the greatest version of yourself? Release. Detach. Because the moment you detach is the moment that you stop creating that resistance. When you stay attached to something, you are creating a resistance between what you want and yourself. But the moment you detach and you create more space in your aura and you create more space to think, to flow, to create, you are allowing yourself to attract in that way. So it's not about being perfect. It's not about, oh, let me do as many skincares and let me go to Pilates and let me do yoga, because guess what, honey bun? You could be doing all those things, playing the act, playing the role, performing, doing all this. But if you do not feel good inside, if you do not believe in yourself within, you're getting nowhere. You're getting nowhere. You're getting nothing but being able to post a little aesthetically pleasing Instagram post of you going to yoga or you meditating or whatever. That's the most you're going to get out of it, babes. But you're not going to feel happy and fulfilled. Because it gets to a point where it's a performance, where you're doing it for others, where you're doing it because you care more about your image. And babes, I'm here to tell you, your image means nothing if your heart is not pure. Because you can be the most beautiful, stunning woman. You can be going on the vacation. You can be taking the pictures. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have confidence in yourself, if you don't know what you want, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how pretty you are. Because you don't feel good about yourself. You don't believe in yourself. You're attached to people, places, and things. You need to own your power. The minute you detach is the minute that you own your power, because you're letting yourself and you're letting other people know, I don't need you. I don't need that thing. I don't need anything to become the greatest version of myself. All I need to do is be authentic. All I need to do is know myself, trust myself, and love myself. So that is the truth of self-improving. It's not about how many Pilates you go to. It's not about, how many friends you have. It's not about any of that. It's about what you do behind closed doors when no one is watching. So I really hope that this video has reached the right person. Like, if you're somebody that cares more about your external image and how you look to others versus how you feel within, you need to start changing that, babes. You need to start removing yourself from things, and it can be hard. It can be very challenging to start over. It can be and it is, but that's a part of life. Life is challenging. Life is not made to be easy. Life is not made for things to be handed to us. Because if that was the truth, everybody will be rich right now. Everybody will be the best version of themselves. Everybody will be where they want to be. Everyone will have that dream goal. That dream job. Everyone will be where they want to be, because we will all be pure. But no. In this society, in this day of age, people focus so much on external things and having all the best clothing and having all the money and being able to travel the most. It's not about that. It's about your authenticity. And you want to make sure that you're keeping your energy high, especially if you want to keep that flow state going. You want to keep attracting more. So again, I hope this video has helped anybody out there. If I didn't say it already, my name is Danny. I make videos on how to become the greatest version of you. So make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. This is my new channel. So let's get started. Let's get the energy up there and let's shift this frequency. Bye.